morning. Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Tuesday morning live stream. We have a dog on our pet cam today, and I feel like I'm congratulating myself because I feel like I've set this up very cleverly, where if I configure it, we can zoom in. Hang on. Can't see it. My monitors really hate, or OBS really hates my monitors. Alright, so we can zoom in. No, I lost it. Man, this was going to be so impressive. Well, not really. I was going to be impressed by myself. And then get him in the frame. Yeah, so that's the dog cam. But if he gets up and moves to the other bed, and he does that sometimes, then we'll still have a dog cam. I don't even gotta get up. I've centered a lot of my life around not having to get up more than absolutely necessary. How are you guys doing? Good morning, everybody. For anybody new to my dog, that's my dog over there. His name is Joker. He was named that, I believe, because he was born April Fool's. He is 7 years old. He's a good boy. He's a little sleepy. We went on a pretty good walk this morning, and he is an Alaskan Klekai. So if he looks like a tiny husky, it's because he's supposed to. He's all grown up, and that's about as big as he's gonna get. So this morning, I figure I would start with opening my cache first, before we go into running Throne of the Four Winds, which is the plan. We're gonna get 11 stabs in, but I'm gonna start boreless. We're already gonna be here, so we may as well see if I got anything good in my cache, and I can tell you about my Mystic Plus last week. So I successfully completed a 5, and that was a little gross, not so bad. Last week was teaming fortified, so the trash was really bad. And we ran an underrot 5, and we had the hardest time getting a tank for it. And then after we had finally gotten one and we started the run, we were like, oh, that's why. This is not fun. Underrot is not fun on teaming fortified week. So we like struggled through that. We made it. We made it, but it took us a bit. We definitely did not beat the timer. Mazzanti, thank you very much for becoming a member. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Oh, my dog's up. Maybe he'll go into one of the pre-camp beds. Thank you for your support. Appreciate having you here. I hope you enjoy the stream. Got my Squirrel Squad mug. Love it. Nice. I'm actually still waiting for mine because that was sort of a last minute addition. I didn't get a sample of it before we put them on the shop. And then I bought one so that I could, well, I'm not doing Island Expeditions. What am I doing? We're looking for my cache. It's in here. I bought one so that I could have one on stream and also just because I like mugs. And I don't have mine yet. I think it's supposed to be here today. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's a good boy. I think it's supposed to be here today or tomorrow, this week anyways, along with my second Squirrel Squad shirt and my, alright, fingers crossed. So this is going to be item level, what? Yeah, 360. It's going to be something 360, so whether or not I'm going to be able to use it is going to be a little bit of a coin toss, because I do have a little bit of heroic gear at this point. I'm not decked out, but I got some stuff. And not again! I hate this top! It's got such trash traits! I got that exact piece of Azurite gear last week, and last week I did the same thing. I went and looked it up, and it's like, wow, that's actually so bottom tier. People aren't even putting it on their charts. It sims so terribly. Oh, no. Whatever math they have that happens that makes Azurite gear come out of those things, if it could chill, I would really appreciate it. You dyed your hair. You inspired me to dye my hair purple. I love it. The hair is beautiful. Amazing. Thank you. It's, I definitely need to make sure that next time I get it done, I do go to a salon and get it done, just because we're not quite the first time was fine because you're just, you're lightening all over and then you color it. And the coloring's not the problem. The problem is that when I touch up my roots, my husband and I are just doing it at home, and I don't think we're precise enough to make sure that we're not double bleaching some areas. Like, we're trying to get it just in the roots, but it's hard, and you're trying to go fast, and I have a lot of hair. So, I think next time for sure, there's like little bits of dry patches up top that, it's fine, nothing's falling out or anything, but I definitely need to stop doing it myself and get help. Next time. It's gonna be a bit. This is gonna take a while to fade. Morning, Hazel, Tracy, and Guide Dog Fig here. Hope your morning is going well. Morning, Tracy. Hazel and Joker, too. He's, at least, in that bed, it kind of curls him up into such a donut that he'll have a hard time putting on a show, as he is occasionally done on a webcam. I actually, while we have the magic powers of zooming him in, I'm gonna tilt him up just a little bit. Let's see. I wish I could explain to you guys the exact thing that I'm trying to deal with whenever I'm trying to adjust the camera. I should just make it so I don't have to. In OBS with my monitors, it makes like this not four, I'm exaggerating. It makes like a window that covers all 3 of my monitors. It's something to do with the resolutions. Or the fact that one of them is vertical. Something about it is not happy. I'm just trying to... You know what? I give up. We can see him. We can have some foreground with the pet whale that I got him for Christmas that he doesn't really play with because he doesn't really like toys. I'm sad because I want my dog. I love buying stuff for my pets, you know, and with fish, that's not really a thing. You get food and then you give it to them, they eat it, and then you don't really want to get more food because you don't want it to be stale and bad by the time you've gotten through it. And you don't really play with fish. There's some fish that you can like throw a ping pong ball in there or something, they'll play, or like train them to do hoop stuff, but for the most part you just look at the fish. You can buy plants, but that's a whole other rabbit hole. And then with the cat will play with stuff. She likes a good play, but the problem is nothing is more enticing to her than a crumpled up paper ball. You can spend any kind of money you want. You can get anything with all of the reviews on Amazon and people saying, this changed my cat's life. It got up in its hind legs and started speaking English. She'll look at it and she'll play with it for like 10 seconds. And then she's like, okay, well now where's the receipt? Which is, as I understand it, a very cat thing to do. But any toy is just an absolute waste of money because she would much rather you take a fresh piece of paper out of a notebook or like a bill or something. And then rip it in half if it's a big piece of paper. It can't be too big. And then just crumple it up and throw it. And she will go nuts for that. Are the 100K shirts excuse me, let me try that again. Let me just answer the question. The 100K shirts are shipping separately. Wow, that was hard to say. They are shipping separately. They did not start to print until after the campaign ended, so those ones will most likely be coming after the Squirrel Squad, unless you ordered your Squirrel Squad stuff really recently. The Squirrel Squad stuff would have printed and shipped earlier. Listening in at work, pleasant stuff to get me through fighting with Visual Studio. I wish you the best of luck with that. You got it. I don't know if I mix up the word sympathize and empathize. I've never fought with Visual Studio, but I have fought with some frustrating software, or at least normal software that frustrates me because I sometimes don't know what I'm doing. Right? All right, we're on her. Oh, it's good. I got the skull right in front of me. And it's just, I know how that can just be the worst thing, especially when you just need to do one thing so you can move on with your life, and it just won't let you. My goodness. Maybe the reworks will change a little bit? You mean the chest? The Azrael chest trait thing? Maybe. I don't know. I am honestly a little underinformed about what they're changing in respect to that because I'm not super invested in the chest. You know, I'm almost... After this week, I am like one more bad chest away from just giving up on Mythic Plus, which is a little sad, but it's this whole thing and you have to go... I don't know. It's kind of fun. It would be more fun if I had gotten at least one thing I could use out of my chest so far. I think I'm like 4-0. I don't think I've been able to use a single piece from any of my caches. Maybe the first one. I don't quite remember. But it's not been good stuff. And having to disenchant the same piece... Well, I can't disenchant this one. The first one I stuck in my bank because I was like, well, you know, maybe they'll hotfix it. They did say they're going to be hotfixing trades, so it would be kind of dumb to throw away Azurite gear. I should probably hang on to it. But I already have a 355 Poet's Blouse in my bank. I don't need another one. I can just enchant that one and get a whole whopping 900 gold for the shard. Hi Hazel, how are you this morning? Hi Tim. I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling a lot more awake and alive right now than I was earlier, and I think it's just sitting down and talking to you guys. There's something about being up in the morning without having spoken a word to anybody that just makes me feel not quite like a human being. I don't know exactly what it is. My morning routine, I get up, and I'm trying to get out of the house really quickly, because I take the dog, how it works is I take the dog for a walk so that my husband can get ready for work and leave without the dog yelling at him, because the dog is super, super upset by any visuals that involve my husband leaving. So the easiest way for us to deal with that in the morning is just for me to take him for a walk, and then he's not here, he doesn't have to see it, and that's fine. So I'm just trying to get out really quickly so that he can get up and get ready for work. So I just like I get up, throw some clothes on, throw some sunscreen on my, oh goodness, smacking stuff, throw some sunscreen on my face, and then we go out and go for a walk. So I think it works pretty good. I like having the exercise be the first thing, because once you're in the habit of it, it really wakes you up, and then I feel like it skips you past the really groggy phase, except that it kind of doesn't. I'm kind of just like, I wonder what my neighbors must think of me. Because I always look a little bit insane. Did I loot that? Did we not get anything? We didn't get anything. That was attempt number 85. Did I loot it? Did I kill it? I don't remember. Remember what I was just saying about being alive? I don't know. Well, I don't see the blue thing anymore, so I guess we're good. But yeah, I always look a little bizarre because I just kind of put on whatever clothes are close. And then my gear for being outside, sometimes I'll have like sunglasses or a hat or gloves. And that all sounds very normal, but I tend to buy things in bright colors and I don't really think about how they go with the other things I already have. So I end up with like a bright hat and different colored gloves and a different colored coat and different colored like boots. And I'm like, wow, I look insane. It's fine, but man. Apparently an AP US history class, but your stream is more important. I disagree. That's not true. This is absolutely not more important. Class is only right now. You know, the stream you can catch up on whenever. Are you partaking in any of the Brewfest stuff? That's a good question. I think I'm not. I need to double check to make sure that they haven't added anything new, but to my understanding, I looked briefly at the news articles when the event started, and I didn't see anything new. And I wouldn't need to do it if there's not anything new, I don't think. I don't think there's any reason for me to. I've got, like, the mounts and the toys and things that I like. System is terrible. I got a Mythic 4 cloth belt at Titan Forge to 390. Dang. Everything from my chest of Warforged, Titan Forge, or been an upgrade feels good, man. You gotta share some of that luck. The add-on that shows the traits of my armor is called... Is that Azurite Tooltip? I think it is. I will double check when I log in here. So, add-ons, Azurite... yeah, because I have two. So, Azurite Tooltip shows you in your tooltip. So, if I look at a piece here, when you just mouse over it, you'll see it right there. So, that's Azurite Tooltip. Azurite Power Weights is what is giving me these scores. Those are only going to be as good as the weights it has, and I'm just using default weights for most of them. I did get weights for my Shadow Priest off of Blood Mallet, so that's something. But, yeah. Power Weights helps you pick traits when you don't want to go sim something, and Tooltip just helps you see what they are. So, this is my Druid. She got a little higher. She's 115 and almost 116. I'm having a hard time finding the inertia to go level her. Oh! Hang on, I'll catch up. I gotta catch up with chat. I'm really behind. I got my Drake on Sunday after 4 tries. Congrats! Love that you refer to your clothing as gear. Well, I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, especially because you get this feeling when you... Wait, that's not where I wanted to go. I need to... Oops. Like, when you're waking up in the morning, and you're warm because it's bed. You were in bed, and it's cold out there. And you want to put on... Like, it feels like you're armoring up, especially if it's raining. It feels like you're armoring up to go outside. You want to be protected from, you know, everything. I want to be protected from everything. So, putting on clothes feels like armoring up, but mostly when I'm talking about gear, I mostly mean, like, the outdoor stuff, like your coat and glasses and your boots and your gloves and your scarf, and I think that's all I have. I don't think I have anything more than that. Just do me. I got like 11 different shades of black. Wouldn't that drive you crazy though? Having everything be black but not quite the same black? Or is it important? Like maybe if you think you're all the same shade of black, that it's just all gonna blend together and people will just be like, oh, there's a shadow. Spooky. Don't think anyone in the States thinks colorful clothing is weird. No, I don't think anybody does, but we get some stares anyways just because my dog is really unusual, as you can see. You don't really get the scale of him on the webcam, but he's tiny. He's a little dude. So he gets a lot of attention, and then people just kind of look at me and they're like... Because I have the hair, too, you know. I'm not trying to be obnoxious outside, but I'm definitely a lot. Like, visually, I'm just a lot. It's okay. Check off, did I loot on Hazel? Bingo. Watching any new TV shows lately? We have been catching up on the seasons of the Great British Bake Off, or Baking Show, depending on your localization, that have been added onto Netflix. So we just finished season 4, because we were behind. So we finished season 4. And we've started season 5, which has the new hosts. And they're very lucky that I already liked Noel from the IT crowd, because otherwise I would be very upset. I'm still kind of upset about the loss of Mary Berry and Mel and Sue, but I can still watch it, and I'm relieved for that, because I really did like the show. Aside from that, not really. Not really anything new. 1 month till BlizzCon, I can't wait to meet you. I may have some news, not yet, but I may have some news that there may be, I don't know when I'm allowed to talk about it. I don't know anything. I don't know how any of this works, but I should have a slightly more organized place to meet people. At BlizzCon. Morning, Hazel. A little late, but I'm here. Good morning, Brittany. Hazel, the TSM queen. Your tutorial rocked. Thank you. I'm glad it was helpful. It actually, I need to make more of them because every time I do one, it inspires me to clean up my stuff, and then I start making more gold. Or maybe it was just luck, or maybe people are buying my stuff just because it's mine, and that would be weird because that would be weird. I doubt it. But the epics that I've been trying to sell forever actually finally sold, so I'm kind of caught up. I have most of my gold right now liquid, not all of it, but most of it. And now I'm trying to figure out what my next move is going to be, and I think that's something I'm going to try and figure out as I make the next couple of steps of the series, which I don't want to overhype because they might take a while because that's me. That's what I do. Nothing new with Brewfest, wish they would add something each year. I can kind of understand it, especially because sometimes it comes around and there's just a lot of other stuff going on. There's plenty of people that even if you had added a new mount to Brewfest never would have found out because of everything else happening right now. And the teams are busy, so I'm okay with the schedule they have where they revamp it like every couple of years. Works okay for me. Add-ons for Azurite traits that I use are Azurite Power Weights and Azurite Tooltip. Just found out that I have a Disney gift card hidden in my wallet. Any random ideas for shirts from anyone that I should get? It's off the wall, but that's me today. Shirts from anyone Disney, like a Disney character that you... I didn't know Disney... I mean, obviously Disney must have gift cards. Everybody has gift cards, but... I don't know. Port to Silithus and fly from there. You're still closer from Oldham. You're pretty. It's kind of the opposite of the stance I take when I'm trying to get to Ice Crown. In that your way has fewer portals, but this way I think is a little less flying. I don't know. They're pretty close. I've been watching old streams. My dad has started to watch with me. We love how positive you are. Loving all of your videos. Thank you, Anna. Shout out to Anna's dad. That is pretty great. Every now and then, my mom or one of my family from back home will mention that they watched like a stream or a video, and it's hilarious because they're like, "Well, we don't know what you're talking about, but it's nice to see you, dear." They don't talk like that. I don't think, but it's super cute. 50 Shades of Black. People seem closed-minded, maybe because I live in a city full of students. Making a Hazel bingo board? That sounds amazing. Oh, man. It would be pretty easy. I'm fairly... It's, you know, you do the same stream... I mean, I won't say it's exactly the same stream every week, but it's very much the same, you know? I have some tea, we do some mount runs, we chat. We often chat about similar things, and it's, I feel like I tread a lot of the same ground. It's a human thing to do, you know? Habits are very human. Every time I see Noel, I quote old Greg sketches. Hosting, no. Nope. Definitely not hosting a panel. Good luck in your mounts. Must get back to work. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks, Melissa. Been playing for almost 12 years, and I'm finally going to BlizzCon this year. Doesn't it feel weird? Because I'm kind of in the same boat that I've been playing for a long time. Not 12 years from me. I think I'm around 10, but... And just having never... I mean, I'm sure lots of people have never been. But... I get the impression, and I don't know if this is true, but I get the impression that a lot of people at BlizzCon have been there before, that they do it either semi-regularly. Like, I don't know how many people are actually first-timers after that long. And, like, I feel like everybody else is going to know everything. I feel like I'm going to a new school, and everybody else, like, you know, I'm transferring in a year in, so everybody already knows everything, but I don't want to ask, but I probably should. I don't know. I'm discovering all sorts of new anxieties I didn't know I had. So that was attempt number 86. That one was no good. The other ones should be a little faster to get rolling because I have left those characters hearsed up in the hostel out in what am I saying? Oldham. I kept trying to say Silithus. All these desert zones are all blended together. Just failed an exam. Time to play WoW until I stop thinking about it. That sucks. That sucks, dude. Watch the mount drop. I just know it. Well, not that time. Maybe next time. Tips for aspiring YouTubers and streamers. I feel like would be like a different set of tips. They're fairly different activities. What do I normally say? Is there anything I can say that's different than what I normally say? What do I normally say? Actually, it's kind of escaping me. There's all sorts of advice you could give, and because it's like YouTube and Twitch are just platforms where you can kind of do your own thing. And there's so many different things that can be successful that somebody telling you how to do it right, that's so far from the only way to do it right that it's not really helpful. Oh, I'm going to repost some of this stuff. So, that is now pizza. I would say the people that talk about a schedule for both YouTube and Twitch, especially early on for people getting started, I think that's a very good universal piece of advice that I feel like a lot of people that ended up doing well on YouTube or Twitch can pin their initial growth down to a point where they started being consistent, which is a good thing to start working towards. Oh, I'm not trying to log out. I'm trying to head to the Throne of the Four Winds so we can run it. I redid this character's transmog. She's the bank ult, so she's the one in the TSM videos, and I redid her transmog for that, and now I feel like I'm not wearing everything, but I am. I got gear on. Hazel. Oh, that's not how I meant to say that. Hazel. Are you having any luck getting pets in the island expeditions? Nah. Nope. I'm disappointed. I see all these tweets of people being like, wow, these are really good now. I'm getting all this stuff. I'm super cool and swagged out, and I don't even do them anymore. And I'm doing mine every week, and I always drag a couple guildies along with me so that we can, like, get through them. We're always doing heroic ones now. I'm doing the heroic ones consistently, and nothing. I got one thing, and it was a pair of plate transmog gloves. And I did sell them. I was happy to get 10k for them. I might have been able to get more if I'd held out, but, like, they didn't look that good. It's just recolored. Like, it was a recolored, like, I don't remember what set it was recolored from, but just, like, a past expansion thing. It wasn't even that cool. But I got 10k for them. I was pretty happy. Nice dog. Is it a husky? He is an Alaskan Kleekai, and I wouldn't expect anybody to know that. It's a weird thing, and they're a fairly recent breed as far as dog breeds go. I think they've been around since, like, the 70s or so. Speaking of TSM, I'm trying to sort 7 to 9k items from years of mail it off to an alt management. Any idea on how to make a custom string for warehousing and not selling and buying? I'm not the best place for advice for that. I have not gotten into the warehousing side of things, so I've never dealt with that before. Trying to think of who would have more info about that. I mean, there's the TSM forums, and then there's the WoW Economy subreddit, although they're having a little bit of a social uprising right now. Okay, so there we go. Does it matter what way you go around and kill them? Everyone goes counterclockwise. I don't think it matters. Here, we'll go clockwise or counterclockwise. Oh wait, you think I'm doing it the wrong way? You think I should be going right and not left? I think I've done it both ways. I don't think it matters. Just celebrated my 10-year anniversary playing WoW. Do you know the date that you started playing WoW? Because that's something I kind of wish I knew, just because I would love an arbitrary reason to take a day off every year to just play WoW. I mean, I could do that anyways, but it would be cool if I knew the exact day. I know it was in December, because I remember, like, I have the specific memory of being in my town's local library, with my friends. We were studying, and before I got to the library, I had bought the copy of the game at, like, a nearby EB Games or something, which is, like, Canadian GameStop. I think GameStop bought them. So I remember looking at the library table, and I don't know if I didn't have homework to do, or if I wasn't going to do it, or if but I remember being at the library and, like, looking through the game box of the classic, because I just bought the first one. That was back when you bought all the, it was like 2008 or so. So you would have bought the expansions separately, and I figured, you know, I'll get the Burning Crusade when I'm ready for it. I'm just going to start with the base one right now. So, and I remember flipping through that, and it was Christmas time-ish. It was, like, coming up on Christmas, which is the reason why I think it was December. I bet there's a place you can look in your account data, right? You'd think that that would be a stat that you could find in your account data somewhere, like when you first activated your account, because that would have been the first time I had a Blizzard account. That was the only thing I needed it for at first. Hazel, I'm a vanilla player, so feel free to ask questions. My boyfriend went last year. He's taking me this year. I'm on the East Coast. Going to BlizzCon isn't really viable. I expect there's a lot of people in that boat. Definitely, it's a trip for a lot of people. I'm pretty lucky that it's not, like, it's a flight, but it's not a long flight, and it's not a time difference flight, so I don't have to worry about jet lag, which is great. I have not experienced jet lag very often in my life. It's only once or twice that I've actually flown laterally, I guess you could say. I mostly just fly north-south. But I have never dealt with it very well. I mean, many people do. but exceptionally cranky if you interrupt my 8 hours of sleep, and I'm not a fan of it. Let's see. Morning, Hazel from Seattle, Washington. Morning, Kelly. Why didn't you do a reaction to Warbringers Ashara? I had some personal stuff going on at that time, and I'm not sure if I'm going to continue doing reactions. I watched it. I really liked it. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing reaction videos. Bonjour, Hazel. Can't wait to have my 100K t-shirt delivered in Charente. I probably butchered that. I'm sorry, but I'm really excited for you to get your stuff. I really hope you guys, I mean, I know you're going to like them because I like them, but it's cool and really weird to know that there's people that are going to be wearing the same stuff that I have. Tips for getting into professions. Figure out your reasons first. Like, if you want to have a profession because you think it's going to fit your character thematically, and that, like, maybe that's why you want to go skinning leatherworking. Maybe your hunter is like a woods person and they skin, and then you want to craft gear with that. Then that's a perfectly fine reason to be a skinner leatherworker. But if you're getting into it because you want to make gold, don't do that. It's a bad idea. There are not that many professions that will reliably make gold. And the ones that will make gold, there's kind of like a beginner to expert sort of range. So for example, right now, making gold with herbalism is the definition of beginner because you run around, you pick them, and you sell them, and it works very well. I've been doing reasonably well off it lately, especially when I can find time to just spend like an hour or so just running around picking herbs. It's great. Whereas, and then something like alchemy is usually going to, and I haven't done it like super recently, but there's always demand for crafted raid consumables that you're consuming on every pull like that, so that's fairly safe. And as you get farther away from that, as you get into things like enchanting is kind of like a medium one, and then you get into, you know, like inscription and the gear crafting, you're going to start having a much harder time. So that was a no-go, but we can port back and try the next one. You may be able to see the date you started in your account info. I have to look for that. Oh, you can check your payment logs. You can see where you bought your first month. Oh. Okay. I'll try and check that. April 6, 2006. Do you like the BTS album? Am I the only one who's surprised by them doing the song with Nicki? I mean, it's kind of like the thing they did with Designer. Like, they did the song, and then there was a separate version with her feature on it. I was a little disappointed in her spot in the music video. I don't know what I expected, but I felt a little let down. But I thought it was fine. I like the album. All my favorite songs, and maybe it's just because I listened to the first version of it so many times, but all of my favorite songs are mostly off of the shorter version that they put out first. I think it was Love Yourself, Her. So those are always the bops that I like replay when I get to them in the main album, so sometimes I just listen to the regular one. I've gotten Scuttle from Island Expedition, so I'm done farming. He was the only one I really wanted. That's a pretty valid takeaway. He was my first one that I got, and I am forever lucky because of that. Managed account order history, sort oldest to newest. Husky Cam, DaytonBattle.net. How come YouTube and not Twitch? Couple of different reasons. I like the bandwidth that they let me stream at, which means that I can do like 1080-60, or at least I can attempt to put it 1080-60 over here. I like being able to have my stream VoDs be very easily on YouTube with live chat replay. I feel like there was something else. Noticed any likes or dislikes between Twitch and YouTube? You mean, like, from my perspective, or people, like, actually liking or disliking the stream? Because that's the thing people can do on YouTube. I don't pay a super huge amount of attention to it, because I don't know if it affects the stream in any way. Like, with a video, obviously, engagement will help its placing in the algorithm. How much is up to debate, but likes will help there. But with a stream, I'm not really trying to place in search with my stream. Like, if anybody's searching how to do something, they come on my stream, that's the wrong place to look. They're not going to be happy sitting through 2 hours of me talking about my cat. So I don't know if it matters. But as far as just things that I like and dislike about it, I like the community on YouTube, but that's it's not a fair comparison to make, because I was farther along in my channel and we have more people here. But I did notice back on Twitch, we had a good community on Twitch, and we had a lot of great regulars, and it was fun. But there was more moderation was required on Twitch in order to keep a friendly and positive vibes chat. You got more drive-by toxicity there. Starting the tail end of WoD. Missed on the Panda Collector's Edition pet, though. Sadness. Aw. Count purchase history, scroll back. You know, if everybody else is doing it, I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna make sure my monitor's not on because I'd hate to accidentally dox myself here. Let's see, I've got my camera, cam link, monitors off, World of Warcraft on. Okay, I should be able to look without you guys being able to see. So you guys said it was in your account history. Website manage account. All right, my account. I gotta log in. A lot of accounts will leave you logged in. This one really doesn't like to, but it doesn't make me sign in again. It's like, oh yeah, no, that's you. All right, account settings. Oh, now I have to log in. I gotcha. Manage account, order history. Order history. Am I in the wrong place? Account security, settings, games, codes, transaction history, order history. There we go. And, sort oldest to newest. Okay. Date. That can't be right. Oh, you know what? I think I had some... It says that the first thing I ever bought was a bunch of battle pets in May of 2011. This doesn't have any of my subpayments on it. This doesn't have any of my subpayments on it. Order history, balance history? Yeah, I don't know where my, like, I pay for a subscription, I just don't know where it is on here. I changed my account a few times, like I changed my email at least once, so that might be when that happened. I didn't, like, get a new account, but I definitely changed my email. I don't want to know how much I've spent on WoW token game times. Oh, that's right. So 2016 was when I bought all my WoW token game times. Ooh, I bought a lot of them. Yeah, it's not gonna, it doesn't tell me here, it just says 2011. I definitely started playing before 2011. Bummer. Oh well. Okay. What's a good mount to start trying to farm? The one that you like and have that you can try for. So I would recommend going to simplearmory.com and looking up your character, checking out the mount planner and what you're missing, and seeing what you don't have that you want, and then figuring out how to get that. Because, I mean, you could go farm for this one, but this is like it's kind of a boring Drake, and I feel like this is a mount that people just farm for because they're already farming for other stuff, and you may as well. It's not a hard mount to farm for, but like nobody really wants it. I could get on that Drake and nobody would know that it's any different than the Drake that you get from Vortex Pinnacle or from Tulparad. Like they put out a couple of them and nobody cares about any of them. I'm eating garlic bread. I hope you're jealous. Are you really? Was I talking last stream about this, or did you just psychically know that I've been dying for garlic bread lately? Have I been vocally complaining about my lack of garlic bread? It's not a big deal. It's just I've been so in our meal planning lately, I have been trying to make my diet a little more balanced. You know, add some more fruits and vegetables and a little bit less just raw carbs. And when I do have carbs, I'm trying to make them a little more whole grain and a little less processed grains, just because it's good or something. Health advice from Hazel. But and the place where I used to serve garlic toast was always alongside pasta, and you don't need that at, like, when you're already having a big bowl of carbs, you don't really need an extra big piece of bread. Like, obviously you want it, it's great, but that's the place where I used to have it. And now that I've stopped doing that, I don't really make garlic toast anymore, and I just need to start making it as a snack because I miss it. You know, eating healthy doesn't mean I can never have garlic toast again. I refuse to live that life. Does the French shirt say Squirrel Squad? Or, oh, I don't know if I can pronounce that one. They all say Squirrel Squad. I didn't localize any of them. Actually, well, they just say squad. They got the picture of the squirrel, so you can insert your own interpretation there. The Drake from Throne is very beautiful. Got it around after 2 years of farming. Good luck, Hazel. Oh, I hope that actually, it just occurred to me. I just spent like 5 minutes kind of trashing the Drake. I apologize if it's anybody's favorite mount. I know everybody has a favorite, and not everybody will understand all of them. They are nice looking Drakes. Don't get me wrong. They're just not they're not as eye catching as some of the other ones that they've done. Nilsaurus, thanks for the super chat. Hazel making WoW doable. Love from Sweden. There's a tagline. There's something for the banner. Making WoW doable. I like that. So that was attempt number 88. No dice there. You can call them. They'll give you the exact day. Oh, I don't know if I would do that. I feel like I would be, like, I would call somebody and they'd be like, you want me to tell you what? You don't need that. Don't worry about it. Are you in the Blizzard shop instead of main account info? I might be. I may have gone the wrong spot. Trying to look up subscription history. Can't find it. Let's see. What guide did you use for collecting so many toys? How did I go about getting toys? I still need more of them. I don't have my Brutus yet. I know actually. Is it still bookmarked? I don't. Wowhead has a toy collection guide. Wowhead has a zone by zone toy collection guide. If you Google Wowhead zone toy collection guide, you should be able to find it. That's how I got a lot of them. Is you can just go to a zone on that guide and it'll tell you which toys come from that zone and then how to do it, and you can just kind of work your way through systematically. I do herbalism and alchemy in my Shadow Priest. Herb alchemy used to be my go-to druid profession pair. Recently, I have taken to using herbalism enchanting on most of my characters because I basically pick the herbs and I sell them, and then one character crafts enchants and the rest of them just disenchant stuff that they get, because you get some amount of gear just from doing world quests, and PvP characters get gear from PvP, and either selling the shards or using those to craft enchants to sell has always been a fairly nice low effort way of making gold, because I'm not usually looking for something that's going to take me a ton of time. So those were pretty good for me. Every now and then I mess with alchemy. And I always try to make gold from cooking, but obviously with cooking everybody has cooking, so it's hard, it's a lot more competitive. Go to the email that you used and then type Blizzard. I don't remember what email I used to use. I would have to really think about that. Like, there's a limited subset that it could be, because I haven't had that many emails in my life, but I absolutely have no idea which one it was. Click on your WoW license and look under the order history there. I've been playing since beta and got the free statue for 10 years. That's cool. I remember when they did that, and there was a lot of people that were like, wow, I unsubbed for 10 minutes and I didn't get it. I'm sad now. Pandaria Retmats are not that hard. There's the cute goat and the flying disc. The flying disc is a really nice one that I think a lot of people underrate. The thing I really like about the flying cloud is that it's so small and so accurate. It's you know, some mounts are just sort of hard to maneuver if you're just trying to land on something and get somewhere specific and you just feel a little clunky. This is the least clunky mount that they have ever made. It is as close as you can get to just flying through the air with no mount at all. It's great. I like that one a lot. If you've changed accounts, it may not show it. For me, the account is the original, has the first time I added game time. Yeah, I swear I didn't change accounts, but I definitely updated the email at some point, because it uses, I definitely updated the email at some point. I love the Throne of the Four Winds mounts. I loved all of them. They are high dev drakes, so pretty. Well, now I gotta look at them again. I feel like I definitely farmed for a long time for the Vortex Pinnacle Drake, like the Northwind, and I have that one. And maybe I'm underappreciating him. Maybe I need to spend some nice quality time with my Alteris Drake. I don't remember how many tries it took me. I did a lot of my farming before I got Rarity, and I'm a little sad that I did that, because now I wish I had data. Like, I wish I had stats and how long they had taken. Not for any discernible actual reason, but just because stats are fun. Okay, I'm going to try and scroll and catch up a little bit. Your dog is so cute. Thanks, Jed. You can have zucchini, pasta, and garlic bread. That is a good idea. And I think I've complained about this before. Have made zucchini pasta a couple times. And it's always fine, you know? You can get the moisture out of it. It's good with the sauce. It's a decent meal. I get really hungry later for some reason. I don't know why, but whenever I have a meal where a vegetable's trying to trick me to think it's something else, it might be psychological, but I just get super hungry after like an hour. And then I get maybe the garlic toast would help with that. But I just get sad. I'm just looking at this and I'm like, you're zucchini. Don't try and be all hip and cool and call yourself Zoodles. I know you're not noodles. And you're just green and wimpy and sad. And I know I'm bullying my zucchini noodles. And they're perfectly good and they're delightful. And people make them in lots of great ways and they're very good for you. I know all of these things. I'm just grumpy. I want a Squaddle shirt. Go to the WoW Summary, click on the active WoW account where it says active, and then account history. Alright, let me try that. I think I still have it open here. Well, I don't, but I can find it. So, I'm on worldofwarcraft.com. Is that the right place to start? And then I go to WoW summary. So I have my game accounts here. I'm definitely, like, this is definitely Blizzard. This isn't WoW. So, okay, so I want to go to the active one. I have a couple of active ones. Alright, so that's PTR, EU, beta, this one. This is the active one. Alright. Order history. Date. Oh, you know what? It wasn't 2008. My dates are all wrong. My whole life is a lie. I started playing in 2010. I haven't been playing for 10 years. I've been lying to you guys. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I started playing in January of 2010. I was recruiter friended, and I got my free month, and the first month I paid for was, well, the first month that my mom paid for, teenager, was March of 2010. Interesting. Huh. My life's alive. What do you think I should main? Hunter. Bon Lu is still the best mount. Garlic toast goes weirdly well with things like chicken and vegetables. Oh, you know what I do sometimes serve garlic toast with is, if I'm making salmon. If I'm, like, I still make the firecracker salmon from the WoW cookbook pretty often. And when I do that, usually what I'll do is I'll make, like, a pile of rice or quinoa or something. I'll just throw it on that. But every now and then I'll have it with garlic toast, and that's usually pretty good. Toy box guide is something of that sort? It might be. Do you have to do dailies for exalted anglers? I think if you want to get it to exalted, you should probably do dailies. You know what actually I need to remember to do? Is I have not been remembering to do my dailies for the bee thing. You guys kept bothering me about Bumbles the bee, so I went and I looked up how to do it, and I got started, and I'm at the point where I just need to do a couple more dailies, or 5 more or something. And I'm not remembering to go out there and actually do them. Garlic is a key food for healthy eating. I started in 2007, 1 month past my 11th anniversary. Do you have the Twilight Avenger mount? I don't know. Is that the, like, is that the one that's from Star 3D? Or, let's see, Twilight Avenger. I have something. Excuse me. Twilight. I don't. What's that from? Island Expeditions. Oh, that's why. Man, I want that thing. But yeah, no, I have the Twilight Drake. I do not have the Twilight Avenger. I have the Twilight Harbinger. Goodness only knows why. Okay, I also mount farm during these runs. I've never had a single mount drop. Oh, that's pretty bad luck. Is it a husky? He is an Alaskan Kleekai. Alaskan Kleekai. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you guys about. I have Dark Irons. I unlocked Dark Irons this week. I unlocked them on the weekend, and I did... Oh, I didn't mean to log into them. I unlocked them on the weekend, and I got 2 of them set up because I couldn't pick. I know I want a Mistweaver alt. Just to have a healer alt. I don't know why I want that. I'm going to give up on it at some point. But right now I'm excited about it. And then I also thought, you know, Dark Iron Warlock. That's a cool Warlock alt. I want my Dark Iron to be a Warlock. And then I just kind of wanted a Mistweaver anyways. Then I made one as a Dark Iron. It's like, wow, you know, I didn't think it would go. That actually looks pretty cool. I didn't need to log into this. So I haven't started leveling either of these. Because I wanted to. And then I was like, if I have time to level, I should probably level my Druid. I should probably get at least 1 more 120 so that I have more characters to run Pet Charm dailies on. But look how cool she looks. So she's got Abeloz, which kind of reminds me of abalone. Kind of makes me think of a shellfish. I don't know. And I've given her this transmog, which I'm not set on, but I think it's a good start. Her name is Hazel. I tried to mail them bags and gold to get started for transmog, and I was like, I don't remember which vowels and S's and Z's I've shoved into Hazel to make it work this time, so I'm just gonna guess. So that's the Warlock, which I can log out of because I didn't mean to log into it. X-rated dog washing. And then that's the Monk. So I like that you can make Dark Irons. Like, I love the Dark Iron female model, and I like that you can make them pretty different. Like, I'm using 2 different faces. It's hard to tell, but, you know, that one's got the freckles, and she's got the curlier brows, and this one's got the straighter brows and the no freckles. I love the different hairstyles. I wish you could change the little bobble. I think that the Punisher bobble is a little bit silly. I wish I could put something else on that, but I'll deal. And then I kind of like giving her sort of like this washed out color scheme that sort of matches her hair. I don't know which one to level first, but in any case, I need to finish leveling that one first. Okay, so Death Knight is the next one that actually needs to run the thing. Thanks for the Bumbles reminder. I'm a ketotarian, a ketogenic vegetarian. That sounds like a lot of work. Trying to tell you the site where you can see character creation date. I don't have my first characters anymore. I don't have them anymore. I think I deleted them. I will tank Hunter up for you, Hazel, if you want, so we can farm them out. It's a very nice offer, Tim. Grass the Iron Dwarf unlock. Thank you. I'm, like, for now, they can just decorate my loading screen, but I'm real excited about them. I feel a lot more liberated alt-wise. I used to feel a lot of stress whenever I made an alt, because I was like, you know, I have so many. Am I really going to play this? Do I have a problem? Do I need help? You know, this is just going to take time away from my main, and then I'm just going to leave it forever, and that time will have been wasted. I used to have a lot of anxiety about that. And more recently, now with this mount farming thing, I can be like, I can make an alt for any gosh darn reason I want. And if all it ever grows up to do is be number 12 or number 13 on my mount runs, that's perfectly okay. That's totally fine. It benefits me to have a lot of characters sometimes. You know, if they ever do another mission, they've probably learned their lesson, but if they ever do another Warlord-style mission table where I can just make free gold off of all of them, that is how I made all my golden Warlords. It'll be good to have, so I can just, like, have fun coming up with their concepts and their transmogs and leveling them, and then there's no stress about continuing to play them, which I like. Can't wait to see the BlizzCon mounts. They're gonna have a hard time outdoing what they did last year. I hope they tone it down a little bit, not in that, like, they should make it less cool, but I would like to see them, and obviously it's way too late, like, they're probably already done, they just haven't shown us yet. I would like to see them make them less big. The BlizzCon Horde Alliance ships, very cool. Really neat mounts. I don't ride them. It's the same thing I talked about in the vlog with the pirate ship. It's very cool. I don't ride it. It's too big and it's a little too unwieldy for me to actually ride all the time. And I know that's not just me that prefers the more compact mounts that you can easily land. I know it's a really silly complaint. Obviously you can get anywhere in a big one and you can fit most places. It's not an actual problem. But, yeah. Did she just invent the word dwarlock? I don't think that I did. I think you might have. I think you may have invented the word dwarlock. Can't take credit for that. Gonna run to the Disney store for my shirt. Glad you found your account history day. After the Disney store, I've got to go to work. I'll take you with me live on my phone. Have fun, Brittany. Let us know which shirt you got. I don't have a whole lot of Disney merchandise, but the stuff that I do have, I kind of treasure. You guys will see me sometimes in like a gray t-shirt that you can barely see the pattern on anymore. It's like a really long gray t-shirt. That one is it's like a Mickey and Minnie that I got in, you know, in Disney World. And then I also have a big Tinkerbell sleep shirt, and I love them both because, you know, I went on that trip with my mom. And, oh, and I also have a hoodie. I have a really big, kind of ugly hoodie, but it's, you know, I was cold. We went to Disney World, and we didn't bring a lot of coats because it was supposed to be really warm, and it was, but it was, like, really windy one day, and I was wearing shorts and, like, a tank top. And my mom saw I was cold, and she bought me a hoodie because she's adorable. And now I love it because whenever I wear it, I'm just like, well, my mom wanted me to be warm. It's just the cutest. It's just... Oh, I miss my mom. You'd know your gnome's birthday? Well, the thing is, she wasn't born as a gnome. We don't talk about it much, but she was born as a human. Is that weird? I know she's, like, a mascot now, and she's definitely become the person that she's meant to be, but she was a human first. I created that human at Missa Pandaria. I created that human in Missa Pandaria towards the end of Missa Pandaria in order to create a Shadow Priest to raid with my current guild, in Warlords. And she was a human. She didn't become a gnome until she was a human all through Heimel. I became a gnome in Blackrock Foundry, I believe. I also have an alt problem. Please send help. Are you wearing a smartwatch? How do you like it? Thinking about getting one myself. So, smart observation. I am. It is new, and therefore my thoughts on it are fairly new. I'm still kind of getting used to it. It's the Apple one because I'm a pretty big Apple person. I'm not fanatical about it. I don't try to push it on other people, but I buy a lot of the stuff, or I have a lot of the stuff, and I enjoy it quite a bit. So far with the watch, I figured it would be good for things like timers and stopwatches because I do those sometimes. Like if I'm testing my aquarium water, I want to have a stopwatch running so that I can keep an eye on how long I've been shaking the thing for, like time this stuff. And I figured it would I use a lot of timers in my life, so I figured it would be just nice to have those on me. And I do use it for that, but the thing that really surprised me about it was how much I want to do the activity stuff. I've been exercising a lot more in the last week, just because I really want to, like, close the rings or whatever, so it's, been good in that way. I'm still trying to figure out how tight I need to wear it, because I have a tendency to over-tighten things, and that's not good for you, but you also want it to be snug so that it's getting good readings. So, still a little split on it that way, but I've been happy with it so far. But I'm not a great source for that because I'm happy with almost everything. It takes a lot to annoy me about a thing. You have a male character. I have a couple of them, yeah. Not too many. This is Hazel Lich. He is my Death Knight. He is a male Draenei because I love male Draenei. Speaking of which, it's telling me to stand up. So I have him, and then there's Hazelbro, who is a male Night Elf Druid on Kelderai. You know what? I'm actually going to refresh my tea. I'm going to add a little more tea to this, heat it up, and that'll let me stand up so my watch can think that I'm doing a good job at being alive. So I'll be right back. Here, I'll give you guys a bigger dog cam so you can see his sleeping face. There we go. We're gonna get started on the next one. Buddy gets a treat there. Huh. Most of us have an alt problem. What kind of dog is that? Joker is an Alaskan Klika. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We're only halfway through. I gotta move faster. It's already almost 10 o'clock. My main Shadow Priest is also born undead, then troll torn undead, end up to panda. I love that you circled back to the thing that you started as, but didn't stay there. I think that's pretty silly. My favorite races are Horde. I prefer the Alliance feel. How did you choose your faction? For a lot of people, it gets kind of chosen for you if you end up with a raiding guild or a group of people that you play with regularly. If you end up with that, then you kind of just play whatever they have, and that sort of takes the angst out of the decision. If it's just you, I would play the races that you prefer more. I feel like you spend more time looking at the racial aesthetics than you do looking at the city aesthetics. I understand the city thing. I really have a vendetta against Orgrimmar. I don't like it at all. Even after you can fly, I just don't like it. And I know Stormwind has its own issues, but I feel a lot more connected to it. But I also prefer most of the Alliance races. I feel like I'm a little more polarized in Horde races. Like for Horde races, I really like a couple of them, and I'm super, super flat about the other ones. Whereas for Alliance, I mostly like most of the races, you know? I can kind of mess with most of them. And there's a couple of them like Gnome that I really like. But but Horde is a little more spiky in terms of my enjoyment of them. I make my goal by soloing all the difficulties of the WoD raids. Get 30k after running all of them to get transmog in the process, a win-win. The WoD raids. Yeah, I guess that would work. That used to be a thing with Kata raids. I mean, these used to drop more gold. They eventually nerfed them. But, are you still gonna do it after you run out of transmog to collect those? That's the thing. I used to really like, I would say, I'm gonna go run these dungeons for transmog. You know, I would boot up my Minar's Wardrobe Helper, and I would run the dungeons with the pure intent of gathering all the transmog from it, but in the process of them, you would get transmog to sell, you would get crafting mass to sell, you would make gold just off the bosses, and you would kind of make gold along the way, and that doubling up kind of really did it for me. PTR data file show a reindeer and a sleigh. I want a sleigh mount, hoping that's what it is. Man, if they add a sleigh mount to Winter's Veil, I have a feeling, I don't think they would do this, but imagine if they added a sleigh mount, but they made it as difficult to get as the rocket mount. Do you think they would do that? I don't want them to. I don't have the rocket mount. I gave up on it. But something that cool and that specific to the holiday feels like it might end up being harder to get. I'm at work at Disney World right now. I'll tell Mickey hi for you. Good old Mickey. Do you guys have a favorite Disney character? Is that normal to have anymore? I feel like I used to be a lot more into Disney as a young child. Although lately, I've been putting on the Disney stuff on Netflix while I draw. I really like that. I had a good session with Milan a week or two ago. My main Shadow Priest was, oh no, I read that one already. I have so many alts I can't remember all their names. Just give them all the same name and then don't remember how you spelled all their names. That's how I live my life. Night Elf Druid Male Booyah. Yeah, his name is Hazelbro. He's Hazelbro. And you have to say it like that. Like whenever you're like, that's part of the rule. Like whenever I got, he was a character that I had in Warlords for the sake of having a drunk druid. And the logic behind that is in Warlords, that was kind of my PvP expansion. In that we raided, but there wasn't a whole lot going on. Like there was a raid and that was 2 nights a week. But outside of that, there wasn't a whole lot else to do. So I ended up getting a little bit into Arena, and I played a Rusted Druid, and I wanted to have a couple of different ones so that I could always have something to queue. I was trying to queue a whole lot and get better. And I would have my main Druid that I queued only with my team. And then I would have a high MMR alt Druid that I could pug at like a certain MMR range. But you didn't want to play with just anybody with these Druids, because if you tank your rating, then you can't queue with your main team, and it's a whole mess. So then I had a low MMR alt Druid that I could like pug with anybody on. And then I wanted to take it one step further because I was a little obsessive about it. And I wanted a drunk Druid that I could play specifically when a little inebriated, because something my friends and I like to do. We don't do it as much anymore, but we would, instead of going out and partying, I would stay here at my desk and mix drinks and be on Discord or Skype back then with my friends. And we would do Arena, because it's, you know, when you're taking it seriously, you get a little wound up about it, and it can be kind of fun just to not take it seriously at all. So I wanted a druid that I could specifically queue on when I was really not worried about the rating, and that was Hazelbro. So whenever I got him on, we would always be like, Hazelbro, because he was Hazelbro. That's the Hazelbro story. I said the word Hazelbro like 18 times there. So that was attempt number 91. No dice just yet. A blacklight only t-shirt that says let it glow. The dog is an Alaskan Kleekai. She has a Draenei Death Knight. Love it. Oh, you already answered that one. I want to say Husky looks too small. That is correct. Microwave bloop bloop noises. Oh, I'm so behind. Man. He's pretty. He is pretty. He's starting to get kind of old. And he doesn't really look old. Like, when you look at him, you're like, well, that's a little puppy. People still think he's a total puppy. But, husband and I were comparing pictures the other day. We were looking at like, the oldest pictures of him that we have from back in, like, 2012 or so. He had him before then, but I don't know if there's a whole lot of pictures of it. I should ask. But we were looking at pictures, and we were like, yeah, he did get kind of gray. He has a lot more gray in his fur now, where he used to be completely black and white. He's starting to look a little older. Alright. I'm so behind. I'm still reading the stuff from when I got up. He's so attentive, always listening. He just wants to know if I'm leaving without him. That is 100% of his existence, is monitoring whether or not people are going to leave without him. That is his worst fear in life, and he takes any sign as a signal that his world is over. It's a problem. Malgorzata Dybala, apologies if I butchered your name. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. Let's see. Would a slave at require a snowball to summon? Oh, I hope not. Undercity is my least favorite to navigate, but I guess Sylvanas solved that problem for me. I kind of liked him. I used to use, back when I played Horde, I used Undercity as my bank alt city. I really liked having an undead male bank alt doing the auctionist thing. Why didn't you try Postal? It made it life easier to mail to my alts. I use TSM mailing for alt mailing, and now that I've figured out what I was doing wrong with it with TSM4 and it's working again for me, it's been really good. It's been really good. It'll automatically, like, I just press a button, and then it'll send things based on rules that I've set up. So I press the button. If I have lockboxes, they get sent to my rogue. If I have stuff that I would normally sell, it gets sent to my bank alt. If I have stuff that I want to disenchant, it gets sent to my disenchanter. Just with one button, it does all that. So that's how I've been doing it. Stitch, my favorite is Ursula. Maleficent, ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Aladdin, Man. I could go for a Disney movie marathon. I don't know if I know anybody that would do, I mean, I can do it by myself. I can go for a marathon. You'd have to find them, though. Like, as a kid, it was really easy because we had all the VHSs. We had, like, a big trunk that was filled with, not all of the VHSs. We were missing a couple specific ones. The Little Mermaid was at my grandmother's house. We didn't have that one. And then we didn't have Robin Hood. And there was one more that I think we were missing. No Peter Pan, no Robin Hood, and Little Mermaid was at Grandma's house. But pretty much all of the other classic ones, I'd say a good 90% of them, of like the original classic ones, we had on VHS in my home. So when you wanted to watch a movie, you could just open that up and you would watch them and they were there. And now I can watch the ones that are on Netflix because they're on Netflix. But aside from that, like, I don't really want to buy them because I don't know. I don't even know if you can. It's this whole thing. Like in the dog cam, tipsy arenas. I don't want to promote binge drinking because it's very bad for a lot of things, including your skin. I don't know why that's the thing that has made me reduce my amount of drinking, but for whatever reason, remembering that it's bad for my skin specifically is maybe like, maybe I won't have a glass of wine. But it's it was a fun way to spend time with some friends. Dogs are always puppies. I agree with that. I call every dog a puppy, and then sometimes people be like, "Oh no, he's an adult," and I'm like, "I know, I know, he's just cute. He's just a cute puppy." I also think that all cats are kitties. You can have the oldest, grumpiest cat, and that is still a kitty. It's just an old grumpy kitty. It's still a kitty. You like Undercity better than Orgrimmar? I have no words. Yeah, I mean, I know the elevators are like a thing, and there's like ceilings. That's kind of a problem, but I just like the auctioneers. Like the auctioneers that are kind of like all around it. It's very the word. I don't know what the word is. I'll take Tinkerbell. Haven't watched Lion King either. Has Vision count since Disney owns the franchise? Which franchise? I put on Hotel Transylvania for my daughter. I ended up watching more than her. I'm not familiar with any of these things. Can't wait until the Disney streaming service comes out. It's going to include everything. I have very mixed feelings on that because, one, I would love to be able to watch all of the old stuff, like the classic stuff, but I don't really want to pay for another streaming service. And I'm sure a lot of people are in that boat. Like, if you already pay for Netflix, you don't really want to pay for another one. And I don't really have any interest in the newer stuff that they've been doing, to my knowledge. Like, a lot of like new Disney stuff is marketed towards people that are younger than my demographic. So I just want to watch the old movies. I guess it could be worth it for like a month or two to catch up on them, and then you just go back and resub for a month or two whenever you want to do it again. And you just don't stay continually subbed unless you really enjoy the new content that they put out. But I don't have time to keep up with what's on Netflix. I don't need another thing. So this is going to be attempt number 93. 93. And no, I got another one of those pets. I need to keep remembering to put those in my journal so I can sell them. But no dice. Oh no, so that was only attempt number 92. Maybe 93 will be the one. Maybe 93 is the charm. Pop that there. Oh, there's two of them there. Can you sell BFA vendor pets in the auction house, and is it worth it? You can sell, like if you're talking about the pet charm vendor pets, you can sell those. It is definitely worth it gold-wise, but the problem is the sale rate. You're going to have a tough time finding a buyer. I didn't, some people probably have, but I didn't successfully sell any of them. I tried it a couple times. I bought a couple pets with pet charms and tried to sell them. Didn't catch anybody. And then eventually just gave up and started collecting them for myself. Man, I love Auto Vendor. Auto Vendor's great. A live-action Lion King movie? I have heard about that. I've been enjoying, like, the live-action reboots of the Disney stuff lately, so that'll be kind of neat. I miss Ender City. I mean, you can still go back. It's like Teldrassil. It's still there. You just gotta talk to somebody to go back in time. How many attempts in the direct so far? 92 to 3-ish. I watched Rick and Morty on Netflix, but Netflix removed it. Was Rick and Morty ever on Netflix? We watched Rick and Morty on, like, a cable service. I think we, like, borrowed a cable login from a friend or something. I think that's what it was. Newer movies are great, and I'm older than you. Coco gets me every time. Oh, I guess that is true. I watch the new movies when they come out on, Netflix. I was only thinking of, like, Disney Channel stuff, like the TV shows. No, you're totally right. They do make really great new movies. I loved Coco. Do you have a degree? No. No, I'm a great example of what you should not aspire for your life to be like. No, I went to university for almost a year. I did one full semester, and I dropped out in my second semester. Didn't go well. You can hearth midair. Vision is from Avenger. Oh, okay. Let's see. I'm diabetic. That's my excuse not to drink. That is a good one. I sold 2 Drusvar pigs for 90k. Ooh, that's decent. I do use an add-on to keep track of the amount of times I've been farmed. I use Rarity. R-A-R-I-T-Y. I feel like Coco gets me too. We didn't watch it that long ago. I definitely cried. And that's not a big statement. A lot of movies make me cry. Some of them aren't even supposed to. Sometimes something's just really cute or really heartwarming. Or there's just like a really pretty bird or something and I'm just like, ah. But Coco got me pretty good. It is on Netflix, but in Europe only. Ah, interesting. Elsa and Moana. Oh, I do love me some Moana. Like, who doesn't? I mean, I'm sure some people don't, but that's a good one. I mean, it was on Netflix, and you get the streaming soundtrack. The soundtrack was so good. That was a good one. Fig wants to know if you currently play any Horde characters. Fig the guide dog. I have one. She is a Horde druid. She's 110, but I did the Zandalar intro scenario on her. It was so that I could get some footage of something in Zandalar that it turned out I couldn't even get anyways. But, so I wouldn't say I'm actively playing her, but I probably will at some point. Not much, though. I can't understate enough that I'm mostly just Alliance. I'd hate to, we're friends to everybody, but I would hate to get anybody's hopes up that I'm gonna switch over when all of my stuff is blue. What's your rating on Uldir so far? I think it's one of the better first raids for an expansion. The mother fight is totally my favorite. I think when ranked against other first raids, I think it does very well. We've had a lot of kind of low ball raids early on, and I think they did a good job of doing the Uldir fights. Yeah, I'm having a great time in it so far. I can't think of any boss where I'm like, not this boss again. My biggest complaint is that the trash feels excessive, especially on the Zol platform and before Fetid Devourer, because of the nature of how you have to clear that stuff. But that's my only complaint really, is it feels like there's too much trash. Are you going to see the Winnie the Pooh movie? I will probably see it if it ever makes its way to Netflix. We don't do theaters a whole lot because it's so expensive by the time you factored in having to board the dog, because we cannot leave that dog alone. He gets too loud. His anxiety makes him very loud. And it's not nice for him either, so whenever we do need to go out and have both of us out somewhere, we'll take him to a place that can, like a daycare, that can, where somebody can be with him. I almost forgot about the stream. I was out in the real world. Real world always comes first. But, glad he made it. Way to guy drop out after one class. He is kind of a legend. I dropped out very, quietly, I would say. It was middle of the term. It wasn't really on a break or anything, I don't think. But I didn't really tell anybody I was leaving. I went to university in a different town away from where I lived. So I, moved out there, and I rented a place all by myself. I was living alone for the first time. So I had to like make new friends, and I did an okay job. I made a couple of new friends at the gas station where I worked, and I made a couple of friends, not really friends, kind of friends. I knew a couple people at university, but largely I didn't connect super well with anybody. I didn't hang out with anybody outside of class, and I was in the music program, so I was there for trumpet performance, and music programs are pretty competitive, and there was a lot of you make friends with people, but if you're not in the cliques, it kind of feels like people just want to watch you fail, and a lot of that might have been my own insecurities. You're like 17, you're living alone for the first time, you think everybody's out to get you. But where am I going with this? Oh yeah, so when I dropped out, I didn't tell anybody that I was leaving. Like, I told my mom and my family back home that I was coming back, but I didn't really know anybody well enough to be like, okay, well, I'm just leaving. So there's probably some people that just think I'm just gone. That just, I'm sure they assumed the correct thing, which is the obvious thing, that I just moved back home. But I definitely didn't tell anybody where I was going. It was a little bit of the same thing when I moved to America. I told my friends and a couple of close people that I was going, and obviously my family, that I was immigrating to. I was leaving Canada, I was going to America. But, I wasn't really on Facebook anymore. It didn't really make sense to make like a big announcement. So there's probably some people that are just like, I wonder what happened. No idea where she went. Just gone. It's just kind of what I do. It's not very healthy. Coco is amazing. It's available in America. Guides me in much more than just geography. What is mount running? Mount running is basically just repeatedly clearing an instance, typically a legacy instance, with the intent of farming a mount that could drop there. So in this instance, there is a 1 in 100 chance for the last boss of the Throne of the Four Winds to drop a Drake mount. So I'm just getting on all my characters one by one and killing it and seeing if he'll drop it for me. I do that every week because that's the reset, and that's what Mounts Runs is. For the Alliance. Will you be making Classic WoW vids when it is out? And what class race combo will you be playing? I will not be making Classic WoW vids when it's out, that I know of. I mean, I always want to give myself a room to change my mind. I hate speaking in absolutes because you never know. But I think it is highly unlikely that I would be making Classic videos because I don't plan to play it, so I wouldn't have a race class combination. I've never really wanted to play Classic. I'm not one of the people that ever really felt a need for it. I didn't play back then. I started in Wrath. And, yeah, I'm good. Stormwind. I'm trying to figure out, because wasn't 2010 Kata? I know for a fact that I started in Wrath because I remember it. Maybe I did switch accounts early on. Maybe I did start an account and then for whatever reason, I think I might have started an account and played on it for a bit. And then, like, I know I started over a few times with my character, so at some point I may have just had somebody recruit me. The fact that my first action on my 2010 started account as a recruiter friend makes me think that I had started it over in order for somebody to recruit me, because I definitely wasn't recruited first. My first WoW experience wasn't being recruited. I remember that happening, but it was later. So maybe there's a lost one. Where can I buy the whale? Was I on a whale? What whale? I missed the whale. Oh, the whale, the dog whale. That's on Amazon. It's a Kong... I don't remember. You should be able to find it if you look for a dog toy whale on Amazon. It'll look exactly like that, like Deep Seas or something. Did I kill it on this already? Did I just do this? No, I haven't done it yet. Yeah, I should be able to find it. It's been pretty tough against him. He's had it for a while, and we play with it sometimes. We'll tug on it, and it's been pretty tough. But if you have a dog that likes to rip stuff up that is generally successful at ripping stuff up, then it's not going to last. Nothing will. I would like to announce that I finally have dual screen. It's glorious. That is the day. That's the good stuff. The day that you move to second monitor, there's no other upgrade that's quite like it. Like, you can upgrade other stuff, and you'd be like, 144 hertz. No, 3 monitors, and I have a keyboard under my feet I can press my cooldowns with my toes, but, like, nothing is quite as big of an upgrade as the second monitor. Like, it's just so crucial. You know, you put a stream on there, you can look stuff up. Like, that's the huge thing, was when I first started playing, and I only had one monitor, I was so excited to get, I think it was an iPod, because, this was, I don't know if it was before smartphones. It was before I had a smartphone. I got my first smartphone very late, relatively speaking to everybody else. My first smartphone was like an iPhone 5S? No, it was, no, I had an Android phone before that. I had a Galaxy S2. And it was way after they came out. They were already on to the 3 or the 4, and I got it too because it was cheap. Because I didn't believe in smartphones for a while. I still kind of don't. I don't use it much. But Where am I going with this? There's more to the story than me just bragging about how I'm so cool and above smartphones. I'm not. Where am I going with this? Oh, yeah, so I was really excited when I first got, like, I think it was an iPod Touch that I could browse the internet on. Very painfully slowly, because I was like, wow. So now, when I'm stuck on a quest, I can just look something up online without having to tab out. Like, that was the dream. The dream was like the Pokedex, you know, the having another thing that I can use to look stuff up without having to get out of the game. And I was so excited about that. And then eventually when I did finally get a second monitor, it was just life-changing. Your dog is so cute. Me and myself have a Finnish lapdog. I mean, I'm not going to say that I would prefer another dog over my dog, because he's my buddy. He's a great walk companion. There's a lot of really good stuff about him, but he's not a lapdog. He doesn't really want to be touched, and he doesn't really like to cuddle. And I would love a dog that likes me. You play trumpet. Can you play for us sometime? I haven't played in a long time, and trumpet is one of those things where your musculature in your face will absolutely degenerate if you don't play all the time. And because it is so loud to practice, I do have a practice mute, and I have a fairly good practice mute setup, but the practice isn't the same, and I just haven't kept up with it, so I would be awful if I tried to play today. I used to try and think of ways that I could set up my life and so that I could use trumpet playing in my YouTube somehow, because I just felt really guilty. Like, my parents paid for all of these private lessons for me. I spent all of my teenage years convinced that I was going to be an orchestra trumpet player, which obviously didn't happen. And I've just been trying to find a way to salvage some of that, but my current quote-unquote dream that I probably won't do is if I ever have a house with my own office that I can soundproof. Like, if I can pay to have a room in my home fairly decently soundproofed so that I can practice without my neighbors hearing, because it's just so loud. And then you can practice with the mute, but it's not the same type of practice. So if I was going to practice again, I would want to be able to practice unmuted. And when you're at school, whatever, you have practice rooms, that's fine. But when you're just on your own and it's loud, and you don't want your neighbors to hear you, it's a problem. So maybe one day, probably not anytime soon. Thick skin is essential. I used to study physics. It seemed like everyone was better than me and understood everything. Switched to chem biology. Yeah, and I mean, I feel like university syndrome happens to a lot of people that sort of skated through school, like high school, fairly, not easily, but fairly easily academically. Is you get out of it, you think you're hot stuff, and then you get into university where everybody was kind of on the same level as you, and all of a sudden you're not special anymore, and you have to study, and you never really learned how to study. And that can be a huge, huge shock for people. Trumpets rock. They do. They definitely do. I feel similar about college. No friends and want to drop out. I wish I had stuck with it. I don't necessarily think that it would have been smart for me to stay in the music program. I probably should have considered either switching my major or like just taking some other classes that weren't quite as related. But I definitely wish I had stuck with it. I don't know if I would have been able to, but if I could have found it in me to make some better habits that would have helped me do that. It was just so much all at once. I just wasn't ready for it. I've always kind of thought that if I ever do decide that I need schooling in order to do whatever's next for me, that I would like to go back and do it properly with like the extra, hopefully, maturity and work ethic that I hope that I've created since I was 17. But I would also be perfectly happy to never have to go back to school again. I still have nightmares about it, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh, it's not true. I don't have to go. I'm good. Ropes work well for dogs that like to tug and pull and rip stuff up. I'm making an undead rogue because that's what I started as. Hazel time. Sup, Zoe? How you doing? I love having a separate monitor. Where am I going with this? My life. I mean, yeah, it happens. Happens in storytelling, happens in streaming, happens in just talking. You start a point, you end up somewhere else, and you're like, wow, this is not where I wanted to go. So I don't need to play that character anymore. I need to get to the next one. Speaking of stories related to just being out and about with the dog, I was walking, and Ultra's heard this one already. I was walking out with the dog last weekend, and we were on a pretty good long walk, and we were on a sidewalk that was fairly narrow. It's like a long straight section, a pretty narrow sidewalk, and I can kind of hear somebody coming up behind me, and they sound like they're running. So I check behind me, it's like this guy with his dog, and I pull my dog off to the side so that you don't like trip somebody up. The poor guy's just trying to run, and he passes me, and he's got like some headphones in, and as he passes me he goes, sorry, The zombies are after me. And you know, there's apps that you get that that are like running fitness apps that simulate being chased by zombies in order to make you run faster. It's like this whole thing that I was already aware of, but it was just so funny. This person just like booking it by me, just being like, "Sorry, zombies, gotta go." And he really looked like he was running from zombies. Like, people have a very, you know, people have like a very disciplined fitness jog, and that is not what this guy was doing. He was dressed for a fitness jog, but he was fleeing. It was really good. I was very happy for him and his dog and their fun zombie fleeing activity. It'd take me a long time to get used to 2 monitors. No way. No way. Super easy. Something that helps me is that if I'm not using one of them, I'll turn it off. I found that I was actually getting a little distracted because, like, if I'm on a flight path and I'm on WoW, I immediately just start looking at the other monitor being like, well, what can I do while I wait? And I've realized that's not the best thing for me mentally. I need to learn how to be bored. So when I'm trying to just zone into WoW and focus on just the thing I'm doing, or if I'm editing and everything's already in my software so I don't need to be fishing around for stuff, I will turn off the other 2 if I don't need them. And having that as an option is really nice, but having all 3 of them, 3 is not necessary for most people, I don't think. But having at least 2 is really useful for a lot of situations. The one place where 3 really comes in handy is editing when I'm first getting everything together, and streaming. Because sometimes I'll just have like a couple of different windows of files open that I'll be picking stuff from as I go. You can have everything in your software and you can kind of search for it, but I just like having everything laid out visually. And it's just like having more table space to like spread out a project. Do you have a favorite mount to every character? No, I used to do that. And I usually have a couple of favorite pets to every character. This one, for some reason, is an Arctic fox kit. I guess she matches the hair of my night elf. But I used to do the mount thing. These days, what I do is I have like favorite mounts that I'll go through on my main, but for the most part, I use the random favorite mount button, and that way I kind of cycle through all of my mounts. But I also feel like I'm not really looking at them. Like, people will ask me where I got that mount, and I already realized that I've already forgotten whatever it was on. So maybe I need to go back and start doing that, like picking out those favorite mounts for my characters, because I feel like that might help more. I would consider going back to school if that was something that was important. Like, if I felt like I could actually use the info I was getting from there for the next step. Like, the thing I always thought I would go back and do is I would go back and do software engineering to learn how to build software. Like, that seems like something I could do that kind of interests me. But in order for me to go back and do that and want to go to school for it, I would need to be convinced that I'm going to get something from a degree and from school that I cannot get by trying to learn it on my own, because there are so many amazing resources for learning skills online, either for free or for a lot cheaper than school. And I don't want to necessarily pay for a degree if I don't need it. Obviously, there's some places where if you want to get in the door, you're going to want a degree. But I would rather start with experience and start with learning as much as I can outside. And if I hit a wall where I'm like, I just can't go any further without a degree, and I need skills that they are holding hostage at universities, then you can go. And the other thing is I would not go back unless I was able to pay for the tuition without a loan. I never want another student loan. I've been there once. I'm good now. I don't want to go back and do it again. That's just a stress I don't want in my life. Okay. So that was no good. Used to play trumpet in high school. 10 years later, big old nothing comes out when I try and play. I bet I could make a sound. I just don't think I can like, I really doubt that I could just like pull out my my graduation piece or anything like that. I want to see a trumpet version of Daughter of the Sea. I don't have a good way to record, and I don't have a good way to practice. I don't want to promise anything yet. Every week of fighting world bosses, they've given me nothing. It's bad luck, man. Priest or Warlock? Honestly, Warlock. I like Priest a lot, but Warlock is a lot more flexible unless you really, unless you're really committed to the Priest thing. So I think that was my last one. I'm gonna catch up on stuff. Are you sure he wasn't just crazy? I'm not sure, but I feel like we're all a little bit... There's a little part of almost everybody that's not quite okay, and that's what makes us interesting. And I look at one monitor with each eye. Eating brownies now, and zombies run. They make you run faster when you're being chased. You have to book it. That's probably what was going on. It was great. So proud of him. How long are you streaming for today? I'm pretty much done. I'm almost done. College will always be there. I went back at 38. And stories like that are what give me the confidence that I can go back later if that's something that ends up being the thing. Could see Hazel as a software engineer. I want to see Hazel working for Blizzard. What raid was that? That was Throne of the Four Winds. Throne of the Four Winds. Something I would like to do, and I'm trying to manage my time so that I can be smart with my time, but something I would like to do as a hobby is get a little farther with learning, learning basic coding. I was learning Swift at a very basic level. I'm not trying to talk myself up. I was learning at a very basic level using the iPad Swift Playgrounds and also a little bit of Xcode. And I think it would be fun to make like a couple of like really rudimentary iPhone apps. I feel like that's a good place to start. And then if I find that rewarding, then that would be a good place to start. But I got enough to do for now. In any case, speaking of that, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna feed my fishies and then take inventory of what's going on today and get a move on it. Thank you guys very much for watching the stream. We'll be streaming again, of course, on Friday, starting at 3 p.m. Pacific time in the afternoon. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.